It was on this site that Theodore Hamm and a dozen friends first established a brewery. I hope that you have enjoyed the tour, and now will join us for a refreshing glass of beer up in Hamm's Rathskeller in the sky.
Thank you.
Oh, wow, I never knew so much went into making a glass of beer.
At least a glass of Hamm's.
You fellows mind if I sit down?
No, not at all. Say, did you just get off the tour? I don't remember seeing you.
Son, you could see I've seen it all before, for a lot of years now. Couldn't help overhearing what you said about the beer. How much went into making a glass of Hamm's?
But really, the steps haven't changed much for thousands of years, have they?
Well, the steps are similar, but the ingredients are a whole lot better. And we know more about beer now. You know, Hamm's is brewed solely with pure and natural ingredients. The finest hops, malt, golden hearts of corn, pure water right from our own deep wells. And of course, our own special yeast.
Say, you mentioned malt. I've heard a lot about it, but just what is malt?
Well, malt is short for malted barley, or barley malt, which, by the way, is the same natural flavor used in malted milk. Anyway, barley is a grain that grows much like wheat. It's allowed to ripen naturally in the field. And then when it's just right for brewing, it's harvested and delivered to us directly from the Red River Valley of the North. Then it's aged in our grain elevators. How does the malting come about? We use a natural old-time process. Expensive, but better. The grain's placed in huge tanks and water added. In about 2 days, the barley starts to grow. Then we move it to cool, moist rooms, where it sprouts just as nature intended. Large augers gently turn the grain, so each kernel receives the same amount of moisture. Once the nutritional value of the grain's been released, we stop the sprouting process by dropping the barley or green malt to the drying floor below. The result is a grain produce high in food value. Brewers call it barley malt. From the malt house, the malt is whisked to the brew house in a pneumatic tube. As you know, this is a popular attraction for visitors from all over the United States and Canada.
By the way, we use other grains as well as barley.
Oh? What kind of grain?
Well, the golden hearts of corn or rice, for instance.
What's that for?
Well, brewers call them adjuncts, but really they help stabilize the brew while adding zest and lightness. Exacting amounts of malt and corn are weighed according to an old recipe, the one created by Theodore Hamm back in 1865. These ingredients, now called a mash, are blended together in a huge pressure cooker. Then we add pure artesian water drawn from wells set deep in the limestone rock our brewery is built on. With the mash cooked and blended just right, hot water is added in the lauter tub. Revolving arms deliver the water uniformly over the mash.
What's all this water for?
That helps extract the pure food ingredients from the mash to create a liquid we call wort. The wort is filtered out of the mash in the lauter tub. By the way, the grain that's left is used as high-protein cattle feed when we're finished with it. From the lauter tub, the wort moves downstairs to the brew kettle. This is where we add the next natural ingredient, hops.
Say, I've heard the term used over and over, but nobody ever explains just what hops really are.
Well, hops are actually the blossoms of hop vines. You know, it takes very special climate and soil conditions to grow distinctive hops that hold their flavor and aroma after drying and compressing. Here at Hamm's, we use a blend of the best American and European hops. Sure, imported hops are more expensive, but we know they're worth the extra we have to spend.
How are they used?
Well, first we bring the wort to a rolling boil.
Wait a minute. Just what are the hops for?
Well, they add that distinctive aroma to beer that sets it apart from any other beverage. They're kind of a natural seasoning. Pinch of salt that adds zest, you know?
But after you add the hops, what does the brewing do to the wort?
Well, by keeping it at the boil for just the right length of time, we can remove the excess water we used in the lauter tubs. This way we ensure the hop flavor is blended in uniformly before the wort is sent off to fermentation. The next natural ingredient we add is our own pedigreed yeast.
Pedigreed yeast? What do you mean by that?
Well, before the turn of the century, a single pure yeast cell was isolated by the son of our first master brewer. The yeast we use today is a direct descendant of that one cell.
What does the yeast do to the wort?
Well, it acts on the liquid to release the refreshing bubbles, at the same time determining the strength of the beer. The result of that action is the beautiful and vigorous Croissant head you can see on the top of the fermentation vats. At this point, we have what's called young beer.
Young beer. Then the next step must be aging.
That's right. Here at Hamm's, we age our beer longer than almost any other brewery. Sure, the extra aging means we're raising the cost of our process again, but that was the way Theodore Hamm insisted it be done. He'd sure be proud of the aging cellars we have now. Controlled refrigeration and all. And inside those tanks, thousands of barrels of beer are resting, taking on that rich, mellow flavor so distinctively Hamm's.
After aging, the beer must be ready for packaging.
Right. But on the way, it has to pass through the government cellars where every barrel is recorded for taxation, and the last quality tests are run.
Taxes? Wow. How much does Hamm's pay every year?
I'm not sure of the overall figure, but it's over $50 million a year in excise taxes alone.
Man, I never realized it was so much.
I don't know about that. A look at the packing plan is enough to convince me there's plenty of beer leaving here every day.
Oh, there's a lot, all right. But did you know you can see the history of packaging there?
How's that?
Well, we still rack some beer into kegs the old-fashioned way, by hand. You know, we've just installed the latest fully automatic racking equipment.
Yeah, we saw the other kind. Packaging bottles and cans, I mean.
Yep. You know, I suppose of all the operations around here, folks enjoy that one the most. You know, Theodore Hamm had a saying that pretty well summed up his philosophy about the brewery way back in 1865 when he started all this. I intend to brew, he said, the best possible beer, a high-quality beer, which will please my friends and make friends of my customers. This is my purpose in founding the brewery. Quality will be our fundamental principle.